That's why the rich are richer and the poor are poorer and the well are weller and the sick are sicker. And the middle ground is not as obvious as it once was, because the energy that creates worlds is moving faster than it ever has before, which means it behooves you to find ways to move in the direction of the energy. You don't have to keep up with the energy that creates worlds, but you better be moving in the direction of the energy that creates worlds. Otherwise, it's really hard on you. It's like you're driving down the freeway and you collide with an automobile that's moving the same way that you are. It's not as devastating as if you collide with an automobile that's coming from the other direction. When you get moving in the direction of the energy, you have a much more comfortable ride than when you're bucking the current. When you move against the current that you have been asking for and summoning and has been coming for all of this time, it doesn't work out very well for you. And the first signal that you're doing that is the emotion, the negative emotion that you feel. So the briefest way to explain it is that you are source energy. You come forth into a physical body. Life causes you to ask for more. That asking is then answered by source energy, because source energy gives its undivided attention to what you are asking for. And as law of attraction is responding to this culmination of all that you are, it creates a very powerful calling or source. Do you acknowledge that law of attraction is a factor in your life experience? Have you shown to yourself that when you hold something as your object of attention, sooner or later, and usually sooner, it shows up in your experience? Do you acknowledge that as you have been in this physical body, you have been thinking a lot of thoughts that now make up the basis of your point of attraction? Do you acknowledge that you have thought thoughts before that you're not thinking now, and since you're not thinking them now, it's not part of your basis of attraction? Do you understand that it's only the thought that is actively being thought that is your basis of attraction? Well, please understand that that is so. You didn't feel very confident about that, but we want you to know that thoughts that you thought before are not affecting you now unless you're still thinking them. And so people worry about unconscious thoughts or subconscious thoughts, and we want to say to you, if it's so subconscious or unconscious that you're not having any emotion around it, then it's not big enough that it has any pulling power. So you do acknowledge that your thoughts do create your reality. So now here's another factor that we want you to consider relative to the law of attraction. And as you wrap your thoughts around this, it's going to serve you enormously well, because this piece of information is going to help you to understand, maybe for the first time, why your guidance system, your emotional guidance system, works in the way that it does. Did you enjoy our analogy of the electricity and the toaster a little bit? And do you acknowledge that you existed as source energy before you came forth into this physical body? And do you accept that that non-physical part of you still remains in non-physical? And would you like to join us in acknowledging that that is an eternal being there? Now, you can call it God, you can call it source energy, you can call it all that is. The name that you give it doesn't matter very much, but it is an eternal consciousness that is expanding and is pure positive energy. So this powerful energy, do you acknowledge that law of attraction responds to that energy in the same way that it responds to what's going on here where you are? And do you acknowledge that that must have been around way longer than you've been around here? So this swirling energy of well-being that has gleaned its existence through the contrast and is always moving toward what is wanted, the most expanded, furthermost part in the universe, can you feel the huge well-being of this energy? And can you feel the comparison of the way law of attraction's response to it must be in relationship to law of attraction's response to you? So now do you understand why the call of source is what it is? Now do you understand why there is a current that is calling you toward well-being? Now do you understand that no matter how much you beat the drum of what you do not want, when you croak, you're going to close that gap? Now do you understand why we are so confident about the well-being of all that is? So here is this huge energy of well-being that law of attraction is responding to. And from your point of view in your physical body, what that means is when you feel the call of source, it feels compelling and it feels elating. In other words, the call of source in its purest form, when you are close enough in vibrational proximity to it to really feel it, feels like joy, it feels like passion, it feels like eagerness, it feels like love, it feels like appreciation, it feels like well-being, it feels like yipping and yahooing all the way down the canyon, it feels like cartwheels, it feels like sunshine and rainbows and lollipops, it feels like all of the things that you've ever associated with well-being. It feels like liquid love, it feels like joy, it is rapturous, it is orgasmic, it ripples through your body, it is ecstasy. That's what source energy is and feels like.